Coming up on News 12 at 9, a man shoots into a car with two 17-year-old girls inside. What the teens did after their car was hit. Plus, a local church van missing for 2 days, where it was found and why residents say it's not an easy place to get to. And a Pontotoc County man arrested for trying to hit county deputies with his car, why he says that wasn't the case. News 12 at 9 starts now.
Texoma's #1 rated newscast, broadcasting live from 12 studios. This is News 12 at 9 p.m.
Good evening and welcome to News 12 at 9. I'm Abbie Maynard. Dan has the 9 off. Well, a man is now in jail after shooting at a car with two teens in it over the weekend. 22-year-old Dylan King was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Denison police say he fired several shots into a 17-year-old girl's car Saturday just before 2 a.m. They were driving on Martin Luther King Street right across from Terrell Elementary School. The victim says she knows King but does not know why he shot at her car. She sped off after her car was hit and drove to a friend's house nearby, where she and her friend hid outside until it was clear no one was injured. King is in jail on a $100,000 bond. The sentence was handed down this afternoon to a man who pleaded guilty to shooting a former classmate to death last year. Tyree Cohey got 25 years in prison for first-degree manslaughter. It was part of a plea deal he took last month in the death of Carmel Stolaby. The 16-year-old was arrested last year and charged with first-degree murder as an adult. Police reports say Cohey was driven to Stolaby's home, where he shot him in the head with a .25 caliber handgun before being driven away. Cohey will be eligible for parole in 20 years. An Ardmore man first charged with second-degree murder cut a deal with prosecutors to plead guilty on a lesser charge.
This is going on TV.
It will later.
Why y'all filming me?
David Gonzalez was arrested last year along with Christopher Banks in the stabbing death of Scotty Hennessy. The district attorney says there's no evidence Gonzalez knew Banks was going to stab Hennessy. Gonzalez got 5 years in prison for assault. Banks is serving 23 years for manslaughter. He's also serving 12 more years for violation of probation order for a different case. A Lamar County man injured in a fatal 3-car accident last week has died from his injuries. DPS says 59-year-old Larry Scott Briscoe of Powderly died last night at the Medical Center of Plano. Briscoe was driving southbound on FM 195 last Tuesday around 1 when a Chevy pickup heading northbound, driven by 80-year-old Victor Lawler of Broken Bow, drifted over into oncoming traffic, striking Briscoe and another driver. Lawler was pronounced dead on scene. The other driver was not injured. A power outage hit southern Oklahoma this morning for about 3 hours. Oklahoma Gas and Electric says about 92 customers were affected, including the Walmart in Ardmore.
Sir, it's going to be at least 30 minutes before we can let anybody into the store. We lost our electricity and the registers are still down.
Walmart had to evacuate all of the customers inside the store while they waited for the backup generators to start working. OG&E said the outage was caused by a squirrel in the substation. Checking your Wednesday night weather, plenty cold but balmy compared to our northern neighbors. Chief Meteorologist Steve Lenore joins us in the Weather Center with the latest. Steve?
This is our It Could Be Worse department. Take a look. 6 degrees in Chicago right now, and they're getting some pretty strong winds there. 7 degrees in Bismarck, below 0 that is. Now in Texoma, it's no bargain. It's chilly here tonight. Temperatures this hour below freezing, 8 at 30. Sulphur you're holding right there at 32 and 43 in Paris. That's kind of the extreme. Winds are running along about 10 to 15, so definitely putting a bite on the air tonight. Your wind chill factors as low as the lower 20s in the north and low 30s to the south. So overnight, we're looking at temperatures to generally fall to about 34 degrees. Abbie, we'll see even colder weather for the weekend. Got those numbers when I come back.
A stolen van missing for 2 days has been recovered near Lake Texoma. News 12's Elena Mendoza tells us how authorities found the van belonging to Emmanuel Baptist Church in a place not easy to get to.
It was just like, why in the world is that on the record, you know?
Gentry Black lives on Big Valley Road, the same road the suspects drove up to reach the lake. He says he saw the wrecker taking away the church van around 9 Wednesday morning.
People come and they dump stuff down at the end of the road fairly often, and I think the cops try and keep a good handle on it. But, You know, it's hard. We're way out in the middle of nowhere.
But Black says it's surprising the suspects got a van as far as they did.
I have an all-wheel drive car, and there's no way in the world it could make it all the way to the lake, so I don't know what they were thinking.
Bryan County Sheriff's investigator Nathan Calloway says the van was reported missing Monday morning. The suspects allegedly went into the church and took the keys.
It appears that the criminal or criminals attempted to ramp the van actually into the water but were unsuccessful.
Calloway says 2 people who are persons of interest in the case were arrested Wednesday afternoon for drug trafficking near where the van was found.
They had a very significant amount of methamphetamine on them, and as of this time, neither one are currently charged with the stolen church van, but I would say stay tuned.
Calloway says it's unclear if the suspects had a connection to the church.
Can't really get any worse. I mean, churches are there to help. You know, they're here to help other people.
Calloway says he's confident there will be an arrest warrant issued in connection to the stolen van in the near future. Pontotoc County deputies say they were chased by a man who had just called them to his home. News 12's Sydney Gray explains what happened next.
We had made a couple of calls of a disturbance where he had actually called dispatch and requested officers out there.
Deputies say Jeremy Thomas called 911 reporting a domestic violence at his home on County Road 3460. When they arrived, they say Thomas refused to open up and told deputies to leave. According to the deputies' report, no one was hurt, so they left. But an hour later, the same thing happened again.
They were proceeding north down a county road and noticed a vehicle coming up behind them at a high rate of speed.
That vehicle was Thomas in his black Volkswagen. Deputies say he was chasing them, coming so close that he almost hit a deputy's car.
The vehicle continued to get closer to the officer's vehicle to where it was almost striking the vehicle.
But Thomas says that wasn't the case.
Police officers told us to separate. They left, and as soon as they left, I left. I was following them because that's the only way to go to get back into Ada.
But the deputies didn't see it that way. After getting Thomas to pull over, they placed him under arrest. That's when deputies say Thomas slammed his head on the ground, blaming deputies. Thomas denies that happened. He was then placed in a padded cell because deputies say he threatened to kill himself, which Thomas also denies. Thomas was charged with assault with a dangerous weapon. In Pontotoc County, Sydney Gray, News 12.
The Grayson County Sheriff's Office has added 3 new deputies. Jeremy Pirtle, David Tollison, and Keith Knoll graduated from the Texoma Police Academy last week. They were sworn in by a judge this morning. Family members were there to pin their new badge on their uniform. The men worked full-time in the jail while completing the basic peace officers course.
It's a very big accomplishment for all of us and our families. They were behind us and supported us from day one.
Sheriff Tom Watt thanked the new deputies for their hard work and dedication. Coming up on News 12 at 9, a Trump supporter accused of punching a man back in March was in court today, while he says it's time for the country to heal. But first, let's take a look at some viewer pics sent in. This one is from Dawn in Ethel, Texas. You can see that light shining right through that tree right there. And we'll go into the next one. This is from VK White in Hilton, Oklahoma. A beautiful full moon. To send us your pictures, go to kxii.com/photos. We'll be right back.